You're talking about you want some emotion, you want some character, you want some personality. Well, ladies, you're in luck because that's where your boy, your precious Harry comes in. Harry Styles, who's looking like, fuck, man, I need to get back into music. This shit is hard. Covered in shit. He looks mad as fuck.
I thought they were going to use CG for all this.
They didn't tell me they're going to throw mud in my ass. Let's go ahead and get into our first movie tonight. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all know my ignorant ass. I ain't no buff about anything. I ain't especially no history buff. I don't know anything about history, and I especially don't know anything about Dunkirk history. For one, like I said, don't know history, period. And I'm not British, and that is British history. But I do know this. Ever since this movie came out, I've been getting more and more people online saying, you don't know about Dunkirk? Nah, you stupid motherfucker. I'm not over there where you are. I'm American. But, but for them, it's a big deal. And if you go online, you can find all kind of information. I mean, old reels, old footage of Dunkirk, the incident, and the thing that they called... it was called Operation. Oh, what do you remember this at all?
Damn it! I read this earlier.
Operation Dynamo is what it was called. Sound like some shit you clear your toilet out with or something.
Yeah, it was some result of the phony war.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it really is what they called it.
Yeah. It was one of the few times that they evacuated people, got them out of danger, and said, "Well, hey, you know what? It was so messed up. Y'all some heroes."
A curtain of darkness hangs over the coast of Britain. Every few seconds he sees other ships returning, ships of all shapes and sizes, manned by sailors and merchantmen of Britain.
I guess back in the day, all over the world, everybody talked like that.
Yeah, you know? What's it called, a North Atlantic accent?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess over even Mexico. Hola, ¿cómo está? Muy bien. You know, that's a old reel from back in the day. Mm-hmm. And this is the history of it is that this is 1940 when this occurred, the Operation Dynamo. And everybody says it's a great story because it was 400,000 soldiers that they had to get off the French island of Dunkirk, where on that island they were getting gunned down and held at bay by the Germans, and they saw their houses right across the street.
Yeah, but the Germans also had sent them maps going like, this is you, and all this is us, and your ass ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, that was so dope.
Oh, I know.
Get the fuck y'all out. I hope you're ready.
I dare you. Take one step. They drew that line right there. Cross it. I double dare you.
This is how fucked you are.
And it was so messed up. This is not a movie about heroes. There are some, but most of the people in this movie, it's not like the other war movies you've seen where everybody's trying to be valiant and heroic and brave. No, this was like, oh fuck, shit, fuck.
Or are they trying to kill each other?
Yeah, are they
Get the
trying
fuck out of my way?
Yeah, turning against each other. You know, the big thing about this though is that the only way they could get these guys off the island is if they had boats that came in that the enemy didn't expect. And those were small civilian boats, fishing boats and yachts and the recreational boats that people went out in, manned by civilian steerers. So this is it's a really cool story that's told in a way that you haven't seen for any other war film out there. I will say that right now. Dunkirk is so popular that a lot of people don't even know they've seen it in other films. There was a big scene that I even forgot about that was in the movie Atonement, which is actually a really cool scene. This is a shot where it was done in one take, very fancy, very clean, and very stylized. With this in Dunkirk, it's very handheld, very shaky. It's very chaotic. And
it's very much a you are there.
Yeah, and they put you right in the middle of it. And if you really want to understand how the movie is, one of the best ways to put it is it's one of Christopher Nolan's shortest movies, first of all.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember when they said Dunkirk, I was like, shit, I'm bringing a sleeping bag with me. A boat will have to come and get me because Christopher Nolan got us trapped.
Yeah, it's going to be like us trapped on that island.
Not only is it a war movie, it's a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah. Like you try to leave the theater, Christopher Nolan's there with a gun waiting on your ass. Go ahead, come out that theater.
Handing out pamphlets, you're stuck here.
Yeah. But It's about an hour and 40 minutes, 47 minutes. And the way that I saw it, some people might disagree, but imagine the first 10 minutes of The Dark Knight. And imagine that stretched out to an hour and 40 minutes. And the reason why I say that is because there are so many things that are similar between this and this whole film. The whole film is just tension of these people trying to escape, trying to hide, trying to save others. And it's the tension between that and something like The Dark Knight, where in the beginning they're setting up this moment that's leading to something that you really don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be bad, and it's probably going to be something that is going to be big. And
it's important to note, though, that Batman does not show up.
He's spoiling. He does. Come in the bat planes. I got you.
They have done all these alternate history Batman.
Yeah, I know. Where is Adolf?
What is he saying?
Is he talking German? I don't know. But the biggest similarity between the Dark Knight and the opening of this movie is that imagine the soundtrack from The Dark Knight, that opening, and how it plays the whole film. Because in Dark Knight, what they did was it was a lot of tension because they had that music that was like dun, 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 dun. And that's what one of the main instruments that they use for the score here is a stopwatch. Like somebody went over to Walmart and you listen, that stopwatch is playing almost through the whole movie. And we used to when we hear ticking, we waiting for a bomb to blow up. You know what I mean? We waiting for something to pop off. And that stopwatch by itself just has your ass sitting there like, come on, man, what the fuck? What's gonna happen?
Just shoot me already.
Yeah. And I say what you will, but Christopher Nolan is an expert. He's amazing at creating tension with the bare minimum. Christopher Nolan has even said, man, the reason why I feel comfortable releasing this in the summertime because it's PG-13 and it's an action movie. That's the way I see it. It's just about people just trying to live, because just like we talked about Chainsaw Massacre yesterday, the thing that we talked about is like you think it's more violent than it really is. Ain't no blood in there. People think they see blood all the time. And some people gonna come out of this thinking they see a lot of blood. It's a war film that doesn't have any blood in it.
That actually kind of disappointed me.
Yeah.
Did
actually
it?
bothered me.
Yeah.
Really?
It
Why?
bothered me a lot.
Seeing a realistic war film now where there's no blood, it almost like takes away the gravity of the death.
Like, are people getting hurt?
Yeah.
And it was funny because the time they did show blood, it wasn't even on the battlefield.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, one dude bit his fingers and pulled a hangnail. Fuck. Yeah.
Especially after seeing something like Hacksaw Ridge, when people get
Yes.
blown away, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, it hits way harder. When people go here, honestly, it kind of reminded me of Stormtroopers getting blown
Yeah,
up.
and people would be getting blown away by like mortar strikes, and their bodies would just fly away. There'd be no legs and no
Yeah,
blood. Or anything.
yeah.
Like, how is that happening?
Yeah, especially when it would happen like as far away as you to me, and there's no viscera coming down on anybody. I'm like, well,
That didn't bother me because I got the feeling that he was implying a lot of things more than you saw. I mean, you saw people get blown up, and when people get blown up, then they come back to the body on the ground with the meat coming out the leg and everything. This was where Christopher Nolan would set up some violence. He would set up a really fucked up situation, and he would show people dying or drowning somewhere, and right when the shit was about to get bad, he cut the camera away. And then at that moment, you would still hear people screaming, or that people were still dying. And to me, that left a lot, because it was almost like Christopher Nolan just showed you the setup and then walked away and like, you know what, I'm gonna leave your mind to fuck with you. And for me, I can't speak for you guys, but for me, that worked out.
It's funny because to hear you say it, usually that does work for me, but in this, it just always felt so deliberate, the whole pulling away and not showing it.
A lot of people are going to be used to seeing the kind of war films that we see, and you're going to be disappointed. Not all of you, but some of you are going to be disappointed. As you can see right here, some people are saying that. Now, you got two different kinds of people. I didn't mind it, but you seem to be disappointed by that.
Just disappointed might even be a strong word, but I can definitely say it would have been more effective to me had it shown some of it. Not a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't need a Mel Gibson gore fest.
And I like the way they didn't need to show me blood, because they were just very matter of fact about death. They weren't cold about it, but they never weighed on sentimentality or anything like that.
No,
you know, it was almost like the movie was saying, do not die, because if you do, you ain't getting shit. You ain't getting no music. You ain't getting that last tell my wife I love. No, if you die, the camera's like, we moving on.
They push your ass out to the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you got blown up, you had to be very British about it and have a stiff upper lip. Don't make a scene, old chap.
Oh yeah, no,
Die quietly.
it was almost like the message of the movie is that sucks, but that motherfucker's gone. We got over 300,000 more men who are alive to worry about. I mean, the tagline of this movie could be Dunkirk. Shit happens and then you die.
Deal with it.
Yeah, and we move on.
Shit happens and you get free boots.
This is told in 3 perspectives right here. And I like, and what I'm talking about, 3 perspectives. Each perspective, it captures a basic moment. You know, you're either fighting, you're running, you're rescuing, or you were scared as fuck. There were moments in the movie where they Pretty Boy, Scarecrow,
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. I love the way Cillian Murphy was just bitching out through this whole movie.
Master of fear my ass.
I know. Exactly.
His own fear.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He's seeing Nazis everywhere.
Where are we going?
I like the way what's his name? Mark Rylance. He was like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Freaking out.
He's like, I'm the one driving the boat. I'm old as fuck. I ain't bothered by this at all. But Cillian Murphy's great because he was the one that did capture. Because a lot of the other soldiers, they're the ones that are just, they don't have even time to show you fear with a lot of these people.
Sure.
Maybe running scared, but
they were very much soldiers.
Yeah,
They were all about their duty.
Yeah, but you got the running scared. You just see them just cowering like this guy. And when you see it, when you see the whole situation, it's like, as much as I want to say this guy's a cowardly bitch, this situation is messed up, and I can't really blame him.
There's no hiding from this, son. We have a job to do. Turn it around!
There was even a point like, turn this motherfucker around!
It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, man, it was, I think they captured like the raw emotions, because that's what a lot of people are probably going to complain about with this. It's like, well, man, that's cool, but there ain't no character development in this.
There's not much, and when people die, especially the main characters, I don't really feel any kind of gravity to the situation.
Yeah, that's my biggest criticism of it for sure. And I can't understand him half the time.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
This is a English-speaking movie that desperately needs subtitles.
I had no problem understanding anybody.
Man, there was one part where Cillian Murphy said something to somebody in the water. I was like, yeah, we'll come back. And then they took him. I was like, wait, I thought you said you was going to leave him.
Well,
come on, man, what? Was that a joke?
Well, that's because Cillian Murphy said,
I didn't know what was going on.
He was in the water, man. Come on.
There were plenty of times in there when I was just like, I'm not sure what he just said.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not sure what that guy responded to just now.
I didn't have that problem.
I felt like when it comes to the character development, I feel like if he would have just shot it all as one thing and then gone on to the next character, we would have had that time to build something with the people. But the second you spend like 5 minutes with somebody, you're on to the next person.
Yeah.
So you're getting like Robot Chicken episodes of death and murder. So I'm like, all right, sure, we'll go with this.
Like you see the channel change.
Yeah, I'm like, all right.
static.
It really is like that, man.
Yeah. I was like, I can't attach myself to these people.
You officially ruined this movie for me.
You're welcome.
I don't see. I can already tell that we are seeing 2 different things here, because with me, one, I appreciated that they were able to tell 3 perspectives in this movie, 3 different stories, and they didn't try to come back and combine them in some kind of clever way. You know, Christopher Nolan is a craftsman. He's not a gimmick guy. And they didn't Tarantino the shit at the end. Like, you know, it wasn't a big Mexican standoff with Nazis and British people pointing guns.
No.
Yeah, you know. but you know, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you know, they're not going to, they didn't try to cram this shit in and do something at the end where it's like, and here's where everybody meets at the same point. With the character development issue, that didn't bother me, because even though they split up the time, the movie had the feeling of being in real time to me. And the feeling I think that they were trying to get is they were dropping you into a situation like you were going to be there. If you're moving in real time, you're not going to know people. Everything is going to be chaotic. The storytelling here, a lot of people are going to think there's a lack of it, and is actually very clever. And even with the whole thing of not having to know these people, they happen to avoid cliches that could have happened that you see with other war films.
There was one big one, though, that kind of stuck out for me.
But in every war movie, I swear to God, there's a scene where somebody, like, we didn't get that one soldier who was like, I just want to get home to my wife.
Yeah. Here's a picture of my wife.
Yes.
I'm going to retire next week.
We're expecting our first child. You know, man, fuck your wife and child. I'm tired of that wife and child. In every movie, we got that wife and child. Nobody cares. We got to get the fuck out of here. And they avoided that. You know, some dude in the back playing harmonica and shit. You know, I don't want to. There was never a moment like that here.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff they avoided, and I appreciated that.
Look, maybe we can't agree on the story side of things, and I can respect that, but god damn, is this thing technically amazing?
Oh
Yes.
yes.
If this does not win sound design and mixing, I don't know what is.
I can't say that I'm a Christopher Nolan fanboy. I mean, The Dark Knight. That's me and Ray's. That's our movie.
Oh, you guys the only two who like that movie.
But together, we're the only ones that have date nights with that movie.
I don't think that's true either.
There have been moments where him and I have been at a bar and The Dark Knight comes on and him and I are watching it and somehow we just start hugging each other. We start holding each other's hands. And
y'all got that one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
People just watching us over there, just loving this shit.
Such a cute gay couple.
Sucking on the same strand of spaghetti.
Sucking that bat dick. But I'm just gonna say it. Christopher Nolan is, and for the better, he's a film hipster. You know, he's fighting digital. He has meetings where he calls every director up in Hollywood and it's like, you know, it's almost like a cult. Like, how many of you want to go to film? Well, let's go back to film. How about that?
You can only reach him on a rotary phone.
Yeah.
Types up his scripts in a typewriter.
Why do you still have a phone book?
He watches shit on a viewfinder. But when you see what he does with a movie like this, you learn this. You actually understand what he's talking about. And because he was shooting in 70 millimeter, he's shooting film. There's a lot of things that he couldn't do. So he went out there and he got battleships, real battleships to come out.
Oh, damn.
You know, so he could have pulled out a Mac Pro or something and done anything, but no, he pulled out a real battleships. He spent over $5 million for the planes, the fighter planes there. Real fighter planes, what they call the Spitfires.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he has a legitimate reason for why he wanted to do that.
There's no hiding.
No, hell no, not that one.
All to lure Mark Rylance into his
I know. Like, I want to move on with the reviews. Like, we got to go back to Dunkirk, son. Turn around. But, and that was another thing in the movie, because it was, I'll show you the plane footage in a minute, but another thing they did, because they were shooting on film, they couldn't. They probably could, but he chose, instead of using a computer to put soldiers everywhere, they actually got cardboard cutouts of soldiers and put them out there.
I didn't even notice that.
No, because I mean, it's
One just blows over.
I know, yeah, the wind just falls flat.
Oh, the exhaustion. He's so tired.
One just blows away. Catch that man!
He's flying back home.
Get back down here, private. They fly on one like a kite. But yeah, they got.
I'm just thinking, like, building, just even those soldiers, there had to be people grumbling, like, he can't do this shit on the computer. Come on, man.
Come on, it's just copy and paste. You can't do that, fucking hipster. But with the Spitfire planes, it's debatable, but I understand where he's coming from with that.
We started to invent stuff to make it possible for us to put the camera on planes.
There's really no way that you could create that in a computer.
I disagree.
Somebody needs to take him to see the new Planet of the Apes movie.
We'll be like, you think it's real monkeys?
How did I get all these real apes? Yeah. It's out of control.
How did you get them to talk, mate?
This is really unethical.
Calling Peter.
He actually has a chimpanzee. Say hello. Come on. But man, I disagree. Of course, I'm not a director of this magnitude, but even if they can do it in a computer, to know that they did it this way and watching it, it's amazing. I mean, just knowing what they did, and they're doing this with IMAX cameras. And these things are not easy to move around.
So are they saying they actually got Tom Hardy flying in that plane so you could see another plane through his cockpit?
That's what it sounds like. Some stunt pilot. Maybe they put a cardboard pilot up in there. I don't know. But it was, just knowing that all these things that you see in are real. If you read up on this and know the production that they went into, it was one of the few movies that it will enhance your experience. It's amazing how we take for granted that computers do everything, and now to know that they're doing it practically, it's amazing. But you look like you're gonna say something.
It's certainly impressive.
Yeah. What about you, man? You
technically, yeah. There's no debating. It's one of the most impressive movies I've ever seen, for sure. That said, I still wish I was getting more emotionally attached to what was happening on screen. Like it almost. It sounds so shitty to say, but it almost doesn't matter how technically impressive it is if I'm not invested in this emotionally, especially since it's such a big historic event. So I feel like I'm being shortchanged. The part that comes the closest for me working on a real emotional level is the stuff with Mark Rylance, because he's the most ill-equipped out of anybody to be there on this shitty little boat.
Yeah. You I mean they're the underdogs of the whole thing.
Yeah,
and they actually have a big, a mini story going on in the whole war. It's like everybody else is just trying to survive and maybe take other people out, but they have their own little dynamic going on there, which I appreciate.
Part of me was just I wanted to spend more time with them for sure.
Yeah. That's where you get there's more at stake there too. It feels like.
Yes.
You're talking about you want some emotion, you want some character, you want some personality. Well, ladies, you're in luck because that's where your precious Harry comes in. Harry Styles, who's looking like, fuck man, I need to get back into music. This shit is hard.
Covered in shit.
He looks mad as fuck.
I thought they were going to use CG for all this.
They didn't tell me they're gonna throw mud in my ass.
They tried to drown me twice.
It'd be funny if the crew was just picking on him, throwing mud and shit out. Hey Harry, fuck.
Did y'all get that? What?
Yeah, where your groupies now, Harry? But let me just tell you girls out there that, because everybody was saying, and there were a lot of people who kind of hating, man. They were like, I thought Christopher Nolan was above this. I thought he was these cameos, these celebrity cameos, just because they got to get a certain demographic in. And I love Christopher Nolan's answer. Like somebody said, so what about this whole controversy with Harry Styles? And he's like, who? He's like, yeah, you talking about that fucking kid covered in shit? But he knew, but he said, I really didn't know. The guy tried out. I didn't know who he was. And my kids knew, but I gave him the part because he was good. And Harry Styles, he's actually given some of the most dialogue out of the soldiers in the movie.
And some of the heaviest stuff too.
Yeah. And he's a dick in the movie too.
Yeah, I love that all these teenage girls are going to come to see him and go like, ugh, I kind of hated him in this movie.
They'll find a way to justify it. Yeah.
No, believe me. Man, let me find it because I put this up.
He's a bad boy.
Man,
What?
He just has to look out for himself. No one else will.
Trust me, man. They'll find a way because there's people out there already saying this is the Harry Styles movie. They making posters where it's just, they put his head above everybody.
Yeah, it looks like he's attacking that
He
boat.
looks like he's coming out to sea like Godzilla.
Show me what you got.
Look like he's about to eat that boat while he's singing. Oh,
It's really Attack on Titan.
yeah. I mean, I'm like, that's some disrespectful shit because they just all these people dying behind and they just put his face in front of everyone and called it Harry Styles.
And they put it in front of real footage too. That's a slap in the face to those people, man.
Just said, they didn't even put Christopher Nolan's name on it. Harry Styles in Dunkirk.
Wow.
They might as well call it Dun Styles or some shit, man. Now, all the ladies going in, don't expect Titanic. Anything is he's not gonna meet some young French girl on the beach and go home and paint her ass naked or anything.
Are there any women in this at all?
Yeah, they serving toast and jam. Yeah,
The nurses. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a few of them say, "Come on, mate, come on, we got tea for you. We got tea and biscuits for you. Come on. Another spot of tea."
was their dialogue.
Gargle, gurgle.
How do I pronounce this?
And it's funny.
Oh, you'll learn.
Man, it's almost kind of wrong too because everybody's like screaming and running, and those women are just like, "Hello, mate, come on, get your tea and crumpets." They're happy as fuck, no matter how much danger's going on. Even when they drown, they're like, but it's she's like that. Queso, they laughing their ass off at death and misery. Dead nurses. They're so happy even when they die. But I'm not going to say anything because one of the biggest things that the girls want to know, like, does Harry live? Well, you just have to go and see it for yourself. But don't expect no Leonardo DiCaprio shit because you ain't getting it. He's a fucking dick in the movie and he's scared as hell. So there's nothing heroic about his ass. I mean, look, I'm screaming right there. Oh, God. I just want to go home, make another album. I've been sitting up here defending this movie for the whole time. Man, I just feel like if they had more emotion and personality, man, fuck you. This movie's great. This movie's awesome. This movie's amazing. What the hell? What do you want? In the words of Mark, what do you want?
To care.
But you know something? I will actually give you that. I don't feel to the degree that you do about not having the emotion in here, but it's the thing that's keeping me from giving this a Better Than Sex. Is that to me, a Better Than Sex movie has everything. Like I do walk out cheering or crying because at the end of this, it's so matter of fact with everything that it's like even when something good happens, like, well, okay, you know, that's good. I mean, I don't have anybody to root for. I have human apathy for what's going on here. You know, I feel like
Empathy.
I'm sorry.
You don't want to be apathetic.
I don't.
Normally I would call step in, but you said the opposite of what
you see how the movie got me? Like, I don't give a fuck. You know, I don't care about these. Even if it fooled me, I don't give a fuck about these guys. Done who? But no, I have human empathy for what's going on right here. But that's about it. You know, it's very basic human empathy.
Yeah.
It's just like
I'm glad they made it.
I'm glad they made it, and everything turned out okay for some, and for others, well, sorry, you know. But that's life.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I really do feel like that, you know. And I agree with you on that to a certain degree. And you know,
I can't give it to him.
I know because I don't feel as deep as you do.
How deep is your life?
I need to know. And I believe at the beginning of the movie that you were thrown into it so fast that it is confusing, maybe slightly to a fault. It's like it's kind of hard to get into it because it's moving fast, but there's not heavy action that's kicking in. You know, it's a lot of turmoil. It's chaotic. And it could be like, all right, well, everything is moving all over the place and everything's a blur, but I don't know what the fuck is happening. And before the real action kicks in, even with everything moving so fast, I could see people kind of losing interest just a little bit because you have nothing to attach yourself to.
Right.
Again. So see, I can be agreeable to some of these things
to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah. For this being an hour and 47 minutes, it felt so much longer.
Yes, it did.
Oh man, it felt so much longer. But
so much longer.
It did. It felt like it was over 2 hours. When we came out and the sun was still going down, I was like, "What? Where am I?" So yeah, that's one of the big things that drew me back from it. So I think it's an enjoyable film. I would like to see it in IMAX or 70 millimeter. So yeah, it's something you should go out and check in theaters. It's a matinee for me.
All right.
I certainly appreciated it while I was watching it, but there was nothing that made me go like, dang, I want to see that again. But for the fact that I wish, had I known what it is, I would have paid full price to see it in IMAX, or at least I give it a low full price.
All right. Hey, what's going on, man?
Hi.
You're here.
Hello. There is a ton to appreciate here, and there's a ton to like about it. Again, as we've all said, technically, it's one of the best looking movies I've ever seen in a theater. I can't help but feel like, man, I would be so much more into this if I cared about any of these people at all. And I feel like we saw a movie earlier this year that covered a similar subject matter from a different perspective that did have that emotional resonance, Their Finest,
right,
which was them about making a movie about Dunkirk. And for that, they weren't even in the battlefield, and I felt like emotionally it felt more, I got way more invested in it.
It was a different story.
It is a different story, you're right.
That's one that making a musical, this is in the middle of a fucking battlefield.
Yeah, but why does that have more emotion than this? Like why does that feel more weighty than this?
Can I answer that? I mean, I don't want to interrupt your rating, but can I?
I think I know what you were gonna say.
What am I gonna say?
You're gonna say that's gonna slow down the pacing of the movie and that they don't have time to stop and talk about how they feel.
I'm not gonna say that.
That's
the way you said it.
I'm not gonna say that now.
No, this is throwing you in the middle of a very crazy situation. The others about. It's very character based. This is more pacing based. This is more action based. This is more wanting to give you a feeling of madness. That one is a movie that's very character based about people who are trying to put together a stage play. I mean,
Right.
they're totally two different things.
Oh, agreed. And one's better than the other.
I mean, but everything you said to him, you know that he got that.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
You're sounding like the Christopher Nolan fanboys that you've been talking about.
I don't. Oh my God, I am.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on this movie.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know who I was for a moment.
And I don't want to sound contrarian. Like I'm like, yeah, fuck this movie and fuck everyone who likes it. No, there's a lot to like here, but I can't help but be a little disappointed by it because I really wanted to get invested in it, and instead I was left just being impressed by the technical aspects of it, which are so impressive. I think it is worth seeing in a theater, and for that alone, I'd give it a matinee.
Okay, I don't get the matinee.
Okay,
but I will say this. And I understand. I'm not. Yeah, I am disappointed, but I do.
Sorry.
No, and I notice your opinion, but let me just tell you, I'm also biased right now because it really is. One, there's the Batman factor. You know, I mean, I can't. You know, I ain't gonna lie. When I was watching this movie, every character had a bat cowl on. You know, all of them were Batman or Jokers. Yeah. Heath Ledger was everywhere. You know, I watched this through certain things, but really, all seriousness, I guess I have an appreciation for this movie because, man, Christopher Nolan just gives a fuck. You know, I mean, we've seen a lot of things this summer where people just give a fuck. I mean, you know, this is not everything has to be this heavy. Not everything has to be even this technical. But we've seen people who just do shit in summertime, blockbuster season. And they do just the basic what they need to do. Are they just so happy? Like Michael Bay just happy to have fucking dynamite at his disposal.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, he has enough clout and money to just wreck shit. You know, this is somebody who, it depends on what you're looking for in a filmmaker. Are you looking for somebody just to go out there and just give you the basics? Or to me, it's a craftsman. And that's what I love about this movie. I mean, and it's good. It's actually good. And this is summertime. He said this is a blockbuster, and it proves that you can go out there and put all this shit in a blockbuster movie and still do some mature storytelling. And I really appreciate about him. I mean, I just look at these. I look at like War for the Planet of the Apes. That director gave a fuck.
Yeah, sure.
Storytelling.
Love that movie.
Lightning McQueen in Cars 3. You know? You know, that's the deepest Cars that I've ever seen. And I appreciate that this summer people gave a fuck. I just did it fuck with Mark. You know that. Oh, but yeah, I'm gonna close with this.
Kind of looks like he's in Dunkirk.
I know he really. Fuck! I gotta get out of here.
Come save these soldiers. I'll save you, boys.
You see soldiers just flying up in the air.
I'm not fast enough. Crew, step in.
Move out the way. I gotta save myself.
Getting bombed. Don't